Illegal broadcast towers are probably the easiest sub-objective to complete in Helldivers 2. They don't pose any threat on the battlefield like stratagem jammers or stalker layers do, and they can be destroyed with a single shot from certain weapons. They are so easy, in fact, that players likely destroy them too quickly to put much thought into what they actually are. An illegal broadcast tower is a structure used for broadcasting messages. It's not so different from the massive Jumbotron TV in every super destroyer. In the case of the illegal broadcast tower, however, the messages it broadcasts are, of course, illegal. If you'd like to know exactly what these messages are saying, Helldrop has a couple great videos showing exactly that. But for the sake of this video, all you need to know is that the illegal broadcast towers are illegal because they're broadcasting ideas that oppose Super Earth. Ideas that Super Earth has deemed too dangerous or harmful to be expressed. Therefore, the Helldivers destroy them. Fascism is a word that appears a lot, both in the real world and in Helldivers 2, where it is often used by our democracy officers to describe the factions which oppose Super Earth, regardless of whether or not fascist is actually an accurate way of describing these factions. The government structure of the Terminids isn't made explicitly clear anywhere in game, leaving it up to player interpretation as to whether or not the Terminids are or aren't a fascist regime, or if government is even an applicable term when referring to colonies of alien insects. Despite this, the Terminids are often referred to as fascists by characters on the side of Super Earth because fascism is bad. This is called demonization, and it is a common propaganda tactic. By attributing labels with negative connotations to things, the labeled things become easier to hate and less likely to be viewed through a charitable lens. It dumbs down otherwise nuanced situations into black and white conflicts of good and evil, right and wrong. It discourages critical thought by telling you exactly how to feel, and justifies radical actions that would otherwise be seen as heinous, as long as those heinous acts are directed towards the demonized thing. Demonization is a dishonest form of persuasion. It undermines what could otherwise be a good faith exchange of differing ideas by making the demonized thing seem too bad to even seek information about or engage with in any way. Demonization is how a nation is able to convince ordinary people to travel across the world and wage war against other people they've never met and know nothing about. Demonization is often used by political parties to dissuade individuals from supporting their opponents. Demonization is likely what drives a Helldiver to destroy an illegal broadcast tower. Much like we can't know for sure if the Terminids are or aren't a fascist regime, the origins of the illegal broadcast towers are left up to interpretation. The content of the messages and those responsible for them, whether they're good, bad, right, wrong, or even potentially harmful, are not immediately evident. The one thing we can know for sure is that Helldivers destroy these towers in order to silence whatever messages they are broadcasting. The forceful suppression of opposing views is a key aspect of fascism. The Helldivers feel justified in doing this because views that oppose Super Earth have been demonized, labeled with terms like tyrannical, traitorous, and fascist. The crux of Helldivers 2's satire is that the Helldivers, otherwise ordinary citizens of Super Earth, react to a perceived threat of fascism by unknowingly becoming the enforcers of a fascist system themselves. There is a loading screen tip in Helldivers 2 that reads, "If an enemy ever attempts to engage in diplomacy, shoot them." Super Earth doesn't want its soldiers to engage in diplomacy because it would undermine the demonization of their opponents. If a Helldiver were ever presented with the opportunity to engage in diplomacy with an enemy, they'd risk realizing that they and their opponents aren't actually so different. They might even realize that their true opponents are those who have conditioned them to hate their enemies in the first place. Opposing views can be powerful, influential, and even scary. Luckily for Super Earth, all it takes to silence opposition is a Helldiver with a gun.